Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, here with another Spiegel Mom Scraps Minimalist Thursday. Really excited about the way this turned out. I kept it simple with my pattern paper, but what I decided to do is take on the mood board from the challenge for August. So there was more to the challenge. You could do a sketch and follow along with the ingredients. And then also you were allowed to scrapbook, like she mentioned, to scrapbook about a place you'd like to go visit or something on your bucket list, I believe. I didn't really have that type of photo or anything like that. So instead, I decided to just use the mood board and take from the colors. So what I'm doing here is trying to decide where I want this piece of pattern paper to go. It's a very loud statement pattern paper. It's from the Crepe Paper Craft Market collection, and I have been hoarding this piece of paper, and I'm excited to finally get it on a layout. But what I decided to do was the background paper that's a lot softer and muted has little gold flecks basically on it, polka dots maybe, but they're in very random orders. So I took my little goodie bag of sequins called Passion Flower, and I just lined up 2 out of the 3 colors. The other one is this really pretty blue floral sequin, but it was a little too big, so it wasn't going to fit with the mood I was going with for this layout. And I just layered it down the first maybe inch or so of, maybe a little bit more, maybe an inch and a half. And I just tried to make sure that no color, like the pinks, weren't all gathered together. I tried to have it a little spread out the best I could. But I really, really love the effect that it gave. And then I decide, okay, so again, I need to figure out where my pattern paper is going to go here. I like it close to the sequins, and then once I rotated it, I really, really liked it. There were a couple pieces that needed a few more sequins, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well so that there's a sequence on every dot on the top part of my layout. I'm then going to work on what I'm going to do with my photo and layering it up here. I knew I wanted something to be in between my photo and the piece of pattern paper I'm going to choose to use to layer, so I just took one of the small glassine bags from the shop and opened it up. I really like the effect that it has. I do a lot of tissue paper. You'll see me do that all the time, but I wanted a little bit of a different effect here, and this is more see-through, and it just has a different texture than obviously tissue paper would have. So I really love the way that that worked. I just kind of trimmed it. Not every single side was able to end up with a piece of it showing through, but I actually like that too. I like the wonkiness that that kind of provided. And then I'm going to back it on this piece of really bright blue and pink floral pattern paper. It's beautiful. And I just wanted to use it as just to add the blue from the mood board. And I didn't want there to be a lot of it, but I needed something. I needed to add the blue because it was in the mood board, and this was like the perfect shade. And in the pink, it kind of helped to bring out the fact that in the photo, I'm wearing a pink shirt and Jackson's wearing a blue shirt. And so it was almost like a perfect match there. I really liked the way that that looked. And so you're just going to see me do that. And that's going to be my layering for the photo. I keep it really basic. I didn't want to add a whole lot and take away from all that pretty sequence work I had done. So, but you're going to see I do add some layers underneath it with some other embellishments. But first, I'm going to work on my title. I know I want to use the word routine in some way, shape, or form because this is talking about my morning routine and how Jackson is always in the washroom with me, and when I'm like putting on my makeup, he's in my brushes and all of that. And let me tell you, there are times it's very frustrating, but it's not going to last forever, and pretty soon he won't even care. He won't be in the washroom when I'm getting ready because he'll be off to school or whatnot. So I need to just take these moments and just cherish them for what they are. And so because this is more of a layout to myself as to why there's so much pink in this layout, I decided that my title was then going to be more, instead of say like my morning routine, which is a little more basic than I wanted for this layout, I decided to go into my chipboard and find a chipboard word. And what I ended up finding was from the Fancy Free collection, the word embrace. So I really love the way that that looks. So it says embrace routine. I'm going to play around with my title placement a little bit here. I grabbed that gold doily. That's again from the shop. It's beautiful gold foil doily. And I really liked having it as an embellishment center. So I'm considering my title as one of my 3 clusters. And I originally had that little strip phrase, but it was brown, and there's brown nowhere else in my layout, and it just wasn't working. So I'm going to take that away. It was a great idea, it just wasn't fitting in. And then I'm just going to simply shift my title down so that the word routine is actually on the doily itself. And then you're going to see me work with where I'm going to put my journaling. So my journaling's hidden just because I didn't know where I could write it to make it not take away from, again, all that hard work I had done with the sequins. That took me about a half an hour to get those all down and everything. So I didn't want to take away from all that hard work I had done. So I simply decided I liked it layered underneath my photo. And then I'm like, but it's not enough. I need a little bit more. I add a little butterfly, and I like that. It's really subtle, so it's not taking away from anything. So I really like the placement of that. And then you're going to notice that heart does move out of the way. But what I do end up finding is another piece. This is from the Maggie Holmes collection chipboard, and it's got that really bright glitter gold on it again. And I like the idea of layering that on top of my photo because it would bring in some more dimension. And it was gold on top of gold, which normally you wouldn't notice or like, but I really liked the difference on having that type of gold right underneath the pattern paper that had gold in it. And again, it helped pop my photo up, which brought my eye to my photo first, because even though this is actually quite a simple layout, there's a lot to look at. So having my photo so dimensional and so up high, I find that it's the first thing I look at, which of course is always what I want to do when it comes to my layouts and stuff. So now you're going to see me work on the bottom here. I knew I want something at the bottom. It needs to have a cluster of 3 somewhere. I'm really into that triangular effect, but I have the hardest time doing this. So I lay down some gold washi and a strip of that blue pattern paper, and I try to trim it, and I try a whole bunch of stuff. None of it works. None of it ends up down there, but I'm giving it a go because I like the idea of having it down there. I really didn't like it right underneath the doily because it made that right-hand side way too dense, and I didn't want that. So then I think, well, maybe I can just add it to the top, and I can just have all of my clusters within that piece of pink pattern paper. I'm not liking that, so I'm going to put it away. I'm going to put my washi tape away. I'll use it on another day, but I tried. And instead, I'm just going to work on some final pieces of embellishment instead. I do have one of these really cool paper clips. They're nice and long, and it was again the perfect pink that matched with the word embrace. So I'm just going to add that to the bottom of my photo here, and then just a few other things. I had an ampersand that was in a blue, and I liked that because that tied in the blue from the pattern paper down to my title, which brought blue there, which it needed. It needed something down there that had that turquoisey blue color other than it being all pink. And then I also had this little puffy sticker that I liked. And again, it just has a hint of blue here and there so that my mood board is represented, but it's not overpowering. And I really like that. I'm not big into overpowering anything. And then the final thing you're going to see is me finish up with finally doing something to the bottom of my layout here with just a few strips of pattern paper. And with that, it's going to wrap up my layout. So thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll be back next week. Bye everyone.